Sorry about that, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Mobius Final Fantasy with your boy Robbie Dagger. Welcome back. Appreciate you being here. Love having you. In this episode, we're gonna do something way different. I just wanted to redo the story time that we did from the other night, just because it seemed to spark a lot of interest, and it was just a lot of fun to poke fun at the Final Fantasy series, especially at this game because I love Mobius Final Fantasy. So this is going to be my first game theory story time for you guys. I wanted to do something more for you guys than just, playing games. You guys know I love me some lore, some history, some background. I love it all. I love storylines. So welcome to Game Theories and Story Time with Robbie Dagger. I welcome you. I love having you here. Thank you. So know that this is pretty lighthearted, and I'm not 100% serious about any of this stuff, but it is really fun to look at little trends and stuff. So in this episode, this is gonna be a funny intro to the series, because is Mobius Final Fantasy a Satanic Illuminati game? Let's look at a couple things. Final Fantasy's been around for almost, I want to say around 30 years now. Around 30 years. And since the beginning, they started out as, it was called Final Fantasy because it was this company's very last game that they were ever going to be able to make, so they wanted to make a really awesome game. They ended up doing so well that they went from a failing company to a succeeding company, and they just kept doing well from there. So now that they're in the mainstream, people poke fun about mainstream things all the time, and Illuminati is one of the things that always comes up, isn't it? So let's talk about it. If you don't know what the Illuminati is, it's basically it would be like rich elitist people that are also Satanists, and they're involved in eating children, I guess, and doing much worse things than that. So this is where the theory this is where I thought it was pretty solid. And what first sparked the theory, you guys, was just a couple of things in the game. They like to. There's a lot of lore, all kinds of lore is mixed into this game, including Japanese lore, all kinds of lore. But here's the thing. There's also, Christian lore in here, if you're into that kind of thing. But if you are, you would know a little bit about demons, and I guess everybody kind of understands the things about demons and stuff, and that kind of goes back to what the Illuminati is. Again, I was saying they're Satanists or whatever, but basically look at it this way, how there's basically extremists at everything, you know what I mean? So that's just one of the kinds of extremes that you can go to, I guess. As much as you might not believe in it at all, there are definitely people out there that are counting on it and that believe in it all the time, do what they want with it. So let's look at a couple of cards. Let's look at a couple of choice cards here for story time. So all kinds of cool cards and stuff. Let's look at Ashura. See, Ashura, cool, really cool card. It says here she's a demon goddess tasked with guarding sacred teachings. Okay. I could let that slide, Square Enix. That's one thing, right? That's one thing. Oh, this isn't what I was looking for. But just in general, a couple of these cards have some pretty dark, backgrounds. This is some Japanese lore here. Susanoo comes from Japanese lore. Warrior god banished from heaven for his violent temperament. Okay, not too bad, right guys? Not too bad. Like, these things weren't really, striking any bells all by themselves. Although there is stuff like, where's that Gregora card? Which is kind of just freaky looking. I got it in my bank here. Let's take a look. All the freaky cards are in the bank. Then you got your boy Diabolos, Greater Demon, said to reap souls of innocence. We got a lot of demons in this game, right? I mean, that is what it is. I can let all that slide, Square Enix. I can let all that slide. It is interesting. It is definitely interesting. I just wanted to show you all this to kind of frame what I'm going to be talking about in a second. Demon sleeps. Everybody knows about succubus. But yeah, just a lot of lore. A lot of different kinds of lore in here. But then there's like Hanuman's a god in, I think it's Hindu. We got a Hanuman card in here. And Hanuman's not necessarily a bad thing. So it's kind of a mixed bag. Can't even find Hanuman. Oh, it's probably in my real deck. But yeah, let's look at that Gregora card before we go. That's what we came in here for. Inga. So, just some weird imagery too. At times, just some different imagery at times. I got, whatever, Robbie Dag. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? What could you possibly be talking about? We all know Shiva's like the goddess of destruction. All kinds of stuff like that. All kinds of cool lore is mixed into this game is what I'm saying. There is a lot of demons. I mean, seems like since Final Fantasy, since 10, that Final Fantasy has stepped into a more religious role, hasn't it? So let's look at what this is. Let's look at the whole story time right here. So let's say you are teleported right now, all you warriors of light in chapter 5. Let's say chapter 5 is our future, like as a species and stuff. Because check this out. Look at this interpretation. It's a beautiful drawing of a really crazy interpretation. All this rubble down here, guys, it's all buildings. It's all skyscrapers. Check it out. Everything on the side here. It's just skyscrapers all stacked into each other. In one way, you could almost imagine that being our future if we keep populating the world at the rate we're populating it, and check it out. That's all buildings. Everything there. All buildings. So, pretty dope. Pretty dope. The other thing is, this, on top of the buildings, there's also, like, just more buildings. Even taller buildings. Looks like greater buildings. You see the peaks, the tips of buildings. It's all rubble. So say, the other thing, the real thing that was really weird about this map that I noticed right away and that you might notice is there is a giant, humongous, unfinished pyramid in the background. It is big, right? It's huge. Unfinished pyramid. just some imagery, right? Just some imagery. And I wanted to leave this map unfinished so I could show you. So it'd be better for story time. But check this out. If you're familiar with the American dollar, on top, in that dollar, I can't, and I know it's super out of focus. It's just a webcam. But on that bill, baby, you can see there's an unfinished pyramid there, and it looks pretty big. What you can't see on the dollar bill is that's an eyeball. Tip of that pyramid's an eyeball, and that finishes the tip of the pyramid. And that's like the all-seeing eye of the Illuminati. People say, some say. But check it out. In our pyramid, like, you can't deny the similarities. That looks really similar. And then in our pyramid in Mobius, instead of an all-seeing eye, we've got the Hall of Light, basically, right? Interesting, right? Very interesting. The other part that struck me about this image is the two objects in the sky, right? Now, if you know anything about just what's going on in outer space, you know that we recently just found discoveries of like a 9th planet, and there's always been people that talk about like Nibiru, and I'm not really gonna get into that on this one, but if you want to look into that, Google it. It's an interesting theory. There's like one scientist in the world that backs it, I think, and everything else is not a credible source, I would tell you. So this thing here, this most definitely looks like the moon, right? It's about that size and stuff. It's kind of got like that moonscape on it. Then, like, what the hell is this thing? This thing's huge. So that, if you know anything about Nibiru, this would like freak you out if you saw this image. This whole image is just crazy. The story behind Nibiru basically is, just in case you didn't know, it's like some, and I don't buy into it 100%, it's supposedly it's another, you know how, if you don't know, in space, stars always have a binary star. They usually always have a binary star, which basically means it's two stars. There's not just one star hovering around in space all by itself chilling. It's usually two stars going around each other. That's like most of the time, like 99% of the time. You know, our solar systems, from what we know, we've never had a binary star. You know what I mean? Or else we wouldn't be able to exist, because it would throw basically shit all around the universe, wouldn't it? So, the theory of Nibiru, basically, or Planet X, or whatever you want to call it, is that there's we do have a binary star, but it's like a dwarf. It's like a dwarf star or whatever, and you can't see it, or something like that. And it would only come like once every couple of, like, between, like, it would be like thousands of years or something like that. Some couple thousand years, something like that. Between like 1 and 3,000 or 4,000, something crazy like that. But when it would come, obviously it would wipe out civilization, because it's also supposedly, it's either also carrying planets with it, or it also carries meteors with it because of the asteroid belt. Something to do with that. So, what do you guys think about that? Pretty interesting stuff, right? Pretty interesting stuff or not? Let me know, you guys. Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the symbolism, about the similarities. There's also a huge component because of the type of game this is. And I've read a lot of theories about that, because this is a gacha game, and there are supposedly theories that they would use dark forces to try to get you to spend more of your money, which is interesting. It's interesting. So let me ask you this as a way to end this episode of Theories Story Time with Robbie Dagger. Have you found yourself spending more money than you wanted to on this game? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear them. As always, it was a pleasure. Let me know if you guys like this kind of video. If this is the kind of thing you guys would like to see more of, make sure you hit that like. If you hate it, just let me know. No worries. I don't plan on doing too many more of these, but I do plan on doing some more game theories, because those are always fun. And I love having you guys around. I love spending time with you. Always fun, guys. Catch you on the next one.